Yeah. Okay. All right, it's 1 minute after, and we're going to have to start because we have a limited time. There's another Zoom call starting at 7 o'clock exactly, right after us. So those who are on, I appreciate your logging in on time. And Father?
Slava Ісусу Христу! Glory to Jesus Christ! Thank you everyone for being able to find time meet together on this evening. As Pani Hanya said, we have a limited time, so let's begin with the prayer, and we'll ask Bishop to bless us, and we'll go to our agenda. Let's pray.
Ім'я Отця і Сина і Святого Духа. Амінь. Царю Небесний, утішителю душі істини, що всюди єси, все наповняє, скарби і життя подателю, прийди і вселися в нас, і очисти нас всякий скверний, спаси благі душі наші. God bless all of us in this our meeting now and forever and ever. Amen. Thank you very much for our office. Thank you very much, Father Volodymyr, Pani Hania, for this initiative. I think it will be good meeting for all of us. God bless you.
Дякую, Владико. Again, Slava Christu, glory be to Jesus Christ. My name is Father Volodymyr Kushnir. I'm a Synchilus of Financial and Legal Affairs of St. Nicholas Diocese. Probably heard of me, maybe saw me, maybe I emailed you or phoned some of you. So now we have a chance to meet each other via Zoom. And you, Pani Anna Shaleva, she's a financial manager of St. Nicholas Diocese. Most of you have probably more time to, more chances to talk to her. And I would like to ask Pani Hania to tell about purpose of our today meeting, and then we'll continue.
Since this is our first meeting, we're going to be very brief today, or as brief as we can be. We're going to be a little bit more generic than future meetings. But what we intend to do is to have a meeting quarterly. And the purpose of these meetings will be twofold: to better understand what the requirements are for financial reporting to the eparchy, number one. And secondarily, to create a situation, a interactive and collaborative system regarding eparchial financial management. So we would like everybody to participate, to ask questions, and in future meetings, I'll be taking suggestions for topics that you would like to see and to discuss. Right now, I'm going to just present a few business-related announcements. Oh no, Father's going next. So,
well, just to help you to understand better how the diocese or the eparchy functioning financially, because it's a little bit different from the parish structure, and our eparchial sources of income. I just want to help you to understand how we are funded, or where we get money for the administration, and etc., etc. Unfortunately, we only have three sources of income. First one, it's grant funds. We receive a grant annually from
Catholic Home Missions.
Yes, Catholic Home Mission. It's a conference of bishops of the United States. And unfortunately, this grant every year getting smaller and smaller because of the financial situation in everywhere. So second source of income, it's a share, annual appeal. Twice a year, we send these envelopes, letters to all the parishioners of every parish in our diocese. we're asking to help and support.
No, I have a Zoom meeting right
our
now, so I
diocese.
can't.
So this is the second source of income, and again, this as of today, this year we collected so far only $40,000, and our goal every year is $200,000. So as you see, it's not much, but we still hope the second round of share will bring us some income as well. And the third source of income, it's a cathedratic. So it's 10% of Sunday collection, Easter collection, and Christmas collection of each parish. So that's why we need all of your financial reports in the eparchy to accurately calculate this cathedratic 10%. Believe it or not, we as the eparchy obliged to give our fifth, our 10% to the patriarch, to the Kiev. So we as a diocese, every eparchy, do it the same as every parish does. So please be mindful of that, and thank you for all your help and support to the diocese. I will ask Pani continue.
All right, so here's a couple business related informational pieces of information. We have a firm due date for when financial reports are to be submitted to the eparchy, and that is March 15th of every year. So that gives you 3 months, you know, because by the year end, you should have your finances completed. And so March 15th is when we need the financial reports. Second, I wanted to let you know that this year our property insurance went up, and this year it's going to cost us $626,000 to cover the property insurance for the entire eparchy. That's quite a substantial sum. The eparchy pays this quarterly. We bill you only once a year so that you can spread out your payments as you wish, whether you want to pay it monthly. Some parishes, believe it or not, pay it one time and they pay it up front. And I really do appreciate them doing that. Please don't leave your payments till the very end of the year, because the majority of the payments that I have to make are in the first quarter. So that's the largest amount of money that I have to pay out. And it's hard to come up with $626,000. We just don't have it. Secondarily, health insurance invoices. We send them out monthly, and we try and be on time to give you enough time to get them out or paid to us. And the only time that we're late on that is right when we have a rollover from one year to the next, especially in the event of when we're changing insurance companies. This year we made no changes because everybody that we polled was happy with the insurance that was provided. And the prices there went up minimally. So there's not a big increase at all on the health insurance. So please pay your health insurance on time. This year, the health is costing $47,252.45. And the life, dental, and vision, I'm sorry, that's only for 1 month, believe it or not, 1 month. And the life, dental, and vision, I just paid $5,225 for that. So 1 month's bill for health insurance is approximately $52,000 to $53,000. So again, we don't have a source of income other than what Father presented, and it helps us a great deal if you pay your invoices on time. The last announcement, because I'm going to, like I said, try and keep it short. I'm going to ask you and all of your pastors to make an announcement Sundays in church about the share donations. It's like Father said, we have limited sources of income. So the shares really help us This past year, we only collected $40,000. The norm is between $80,000 and $100,000. So we're short this year by a minimum of $60,000. It's hard for us to help other parishes that can't pay, because there are parishes that cannot pay. And we have to cover their costs. Okay, that's all I wanted to say, those couple items. We'll get that out of the way. And we're going to start with our presenters. We're going to have time for questions and answers at the end, so make a note of your questions and answers. Our presenters are limited to 5 minutes. The only one that's going to be an exception is the first presenter, which is Mr. Eugene Hanka. He's going to show a couple extra things that he does that may help some of those parishes that are either starting out or who do most of their recording manually. So, Mr. Hanka, are you ready?
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes. Could you tell us
Can you
what,
see me?
could you tell us what parish?
Yes, I'm with St. Michael in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Father Roman, is he there? Father Bobasiuk, if they can put up attachment number 2, the income and loss statement, the horizontal.
Just one moment, please.
Proszę. Drugi. Dolgi się popracznie. Are we able to see that?
No, one moment.
No.
Not yet.
Wyszło czy nie?
Зараз я запущу. Це чи не це?
Nie, że to na prawy bik i toho, to
Це?
że no, że te drati, widzicie? Perkince. No. Dobra. All right, folks, that's the thing I wanted to focus on. That is essentially my accountancy form that I keep track of everything, all of our income and expenses from month to month, and also at the end of the year. The standard accountancy form, essentially 11 by 16 inch. The income portion is the top portion. The expenses are broken down essentially in a few groups, the clergy expenses and the operating expenses. From this document, I prepare the annual income and expense report, which were pretty much appended by Anna to the participants. And the figures that are shown on the annual income and expense report reflect what is on this monthly accounting form, which is essentially my go-to document for everything that's required for finance accounting.
Get it on this.
Can
Questions
anyone who's
related to
not
that later
speaking?
on, you can.
I'm sorry, could everybody put themselves on mute except for Mr. Hanka, please?
Oh, proszę.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Hanka.
Hear me better now?
Yeah,
Good. Again, I don't want to get too belabored with this form. You can see the income at the top, and those are the categories of income. One thing I do want to highlight that for our cathedratic, we have included up to 2022 all the income we receive for Sunday liturgies, for Christmas, for Easter, and for feast days. I did not exclude the feast days. Just anything we collect on a ongoing basis from week to week and month to month, I have tallied up, and that is included in the income line. Probably a little bit more than we could have or should have done, but that's not an issue with us. If you want me to pare that down to just those 2 categories in addition to Sundays, I'll do that going forward. So that's the only thing I wanted to highlight on that. You see the actual income and expense sheets themselves. You can review that on your own. I don't want to belabor that. It's nothing rocket science. I do not use an accountancy format, essentially a common sense format. The income as it presents itself. The expenses in 2 categories, the clergy related expenses with a subtotal, and then the operating expenses, what we mail out to the eparchy, and what we spend on upkeep of the premises. And those tallied together result in the figures at the bottom, which is the grant expense total. And we compare that to our total income, and we get a net result, either positive or negative for the year. On the flip side of that form, it's really irrelevant to this discussion. We have the recaps for our checking account, savings account, our investment account, which is with Morgan Stanley, a GoFundMe account. Those are recapped as of 31 December for the current year and shown. And then obviously the signatures of myself and Father as being the preparer and the reviewer of this document. So that's all that I have at this time, Anna. I don't want to get into too much additional detail. Those other two items I was going to discuss, well, if you wanted me to save that for future sessions, I'll gladly do that. That is what we do in the pews, to tally up our money. And a ledger that I make entries for, which is my go-to document for the annual spiritual administrator report that has who's at the altar, how many communions are dispensed, who is attending each liturgy, and also all the errata line by line of who gives what. And I use that to prepare our tax acknowledgement forms for the parishioners. But that's all that I have at this time to present. Thank you much for listening, and I'll step aside and let the next presenter enter in.
Father Bobichuk, can you bring up his financial report?
That's part two. There we
this
go.
one, yes.
That's the one, yes.
Okay.
So that was for
so-
2022, essentially Sunday holiday. That did include, like I say, those additional categories for feast days. In addition to those three categories you already wanted. Parochial mission, that's what we collected for the year. That doesn't always match what the outgo is because I straddled December, January. Candle offering for the year. Charitable trust grant, that is a plus up, but that's not included in our income. We have a rather well-to-do family, which has a good size account with Schwab, and they bequeath that to us for the year in 22. Dividend distributions from Morgan Stanley account for the year. We get some income from that every month, even though that rides the roller coaster otherwise. It's not the most pleasant thing, but it's a source of income for us, so we stay with it. And the interest, which that year was very pitiful for our various accounts. I've changed those larger sums into CDs now. So that is giving us some sensible income for this coming year of 23. Expenses, again, as I have gone through before, essentially two categories of clergy-related expenses, except for the last line on the clergy, miscellaneous line that does not pertain to Father Roman. Everything else above that is pretty much related to Father Roman or pastor's expenses for the year. That last line is for various other things, gifts to various entities and maybe visiting pastors and so on. Operating expenses, pretty much as it reads, pretty much a reflection of what the income is for a portion of it. Includes also our building insurance and the maintenance and supplies, and of course utilities, and then the investment for Morgan Stanley once a year, 178, and miscellaneous expenses. That is what we mail out to various other charitable entities. We support the monks up north, the sisters in Pennsylvania, OSBM sisters, and what we mail to the FRT2 at the end of the year for the share and so on is reflected in that total. So total operating expenses with the total clergy expenses is our grand expense total subtracted for our income, gives us the bottom line for the year. So
Thank you, Mr. Hanka. Yeah, I wanted to point out the Sunday and holiday offerings. You have a lot of other donations, which we do not include in Cathedratic, but the Sunday and holidays, we're only looking for Sunday, Christmas, and Easter. And as you will see, everybody's examples that we have today, some do it one way, some do it another way. We do the calculation as best we can based on what you provide to us. But if you can break them out to Sundays, Christmas and Easter, and then your holidays totally separate, we take nothing off of any donations or anything else. We just are interested in Sundays, Christmas.
keep
and
it
Easter.
simple for you. I kept it with the everything combined on the first line and let you have at it for your Cathedratic percentage that way. So congratulations on having had it that way. If you want us to backtrack and reverse that, I can do that without much problem. I
Thank
thought it
you.
was fair
for
to
your
offer that up to
generosity.
you. Income is income, regardless of how many times we collect during the week, and that's what I've presented to you in the past.
Okay. All right,
Just,
we're gonna go
just,
on.
Hanya, just to note, Immaculate Conception also includes everything in that line.
Good, thank you.
Yes, I do know that there's quite a few parishes that do, and we thank you for your generosity. but you do not need to do that.
Well, that's not a huge
because-
amount, so we
Yeah,
offer what we feel we should, and we're not gonna quibble about it, so.
thank you. All right, we have to go on to the next presenter. That's going to be Christina Kosach. Christina, are you ready?
Someone more to it in chat.
Just got to unmute. Good evening, everybody. We're fortunate enough to use an accounting program here at the cathedral, and we use QuickBooks. And the nice thing about QuickBooks is you can set up your accounts and manage them as you need them, and make any changes or add or detract as you need. So we have our typical standard collections, and under there we separate out our Sunday collections. We even separate what comes in envelopes and what comes without envelopes, which means people who just come to church and don't belong, or they don't have an envelope and they just toss it in, and it looks like we actually get more money that way than people who have envelopes and who we know are parishioners of the parish. And we do separate out our Christmas collection and Easter collection. It's something interesting to know for us how much actually comes in on those holidays. And then the holy days, the other holy days are separated. It's got its own separate category. We separate our collections for flowers that we do. We have special collections at Christmas and Easter. People sponsor particular plants. And then we have another category, which is special events and collections, which are for particular Prazniki parish feast, or special collections to help somebody. And that's about that. We have our office services, being the cathedral, and through the eparchy, we get a lot of requests for baptismal certificates or marriage certificates. We have the cemetery that is run by the cathedral. So there's also funeral related income that comes in that we need to keep track of. And of course, we have all our diocesan collections as a separate category, and all of their collections are listed there. So it's kind of easy to keep track of. If we try to do like Mr. Hanka does, I'd be here 28/9. There were 9 days in a week. And then the same with the expenses. We separate them out by categories. Our candles, utilities, office salary, office expenses, salaries, etc., clergy expenses, and legal expenses we may have, and purchases that are needed for either the cathedral, the office, the priests, or sometimes the rental. There we also have rental buildings, but that's a completely different account, and that's run by our management company. So it's going to be short and sweet. If anybody has any questions, I'm sure everybody got a copy of our report for 2022. So if you have any questions, please feel free at the end of the presentations to come out.
Yes, this one differs a great deal from the first report, as you can see. And I did email this out to everybody, so I hope you have them in front of you, because not everybody has the capability of bringing these up. So if you have questions, let's have them at the end of the presentations. Okay. All right. So you finished a little bit early. We can go on to Deanna Baranco from Belfield, North Dakota. Deanna.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm with St. Demetrius in North Dakota. I took over the bookkeeping about, I think it was in 2018. Prior to that, the person that was doing it for a very, very long time. So a lot of it she did by hand. And so I didn't really want to recreate the reel too much, but I just took a lot of her forms that she developed and used, and then just kind of converted them into more of like an Excel or Google Sheets format. So like on our statements, I just have, it's our general account. I do separate out, we were blessed to receive some money from a parishioner that had passed away. And so we keep that money kind of separate. We use that for major repairs, and we are renovating our rectory. So I kind of keep that money separate, and I do a separate spreadsheet for those expenses for the parishioners. Yeah, as far as income, I have been doing the holiday and special envelopes all as one, but going forward, I will start breaking it out with the Sunday, Christmas, Easter, but I do the plate, envelope, candles, dues, all that is included. And then as far as expenses, my monthly reports are probably a little more detailed, but for the year end, I kind of group things, you know, like as far as building and grounds maintenance and liturgical supplies, office supplies, that kind of thing. Some of the larger construction projects or those kinds of things I do list out separately. And then we just do where our account was at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year, and our year-to-date income, expenses, and whatever our profit or loss was. Every month I do a report that's similar to this. Like I said, it's maybe a little more detailed. And then on that sheet, I also have space where I can record every Sunday's plate, envelope, candles, dues, all that, and keep track of those things. And then I know in the email you asked about what is most important to our parishioners with regards to our reports. And I would say for us, it tends to be what we're spending on like the big upkeep projects of the church and renovations. Those are probably what our parishioners ask about most. And then also they like to see that beginning and end of the year to see kind of how we're sitting at the end of the year, and is there any major concerns that we need to look at as far as, you know, why were our expenses higher this year, or it seems like our income was down, you know, those types of things, or if there's any kind of trends that I've noticed or things like that.
Okay, Deanna, thank you very much. And you're again early. This is good. All right, we're going on to our last presenter for today. That's Father Hugo Sotis from Phoenix, Arizona.
Slava Isus Christu.
Slava.
I use the QuickBook 2013. It's very easy. I tailor it according to our church. Our church is not so big. We have every week we put up all the amounts. It's two sections. It was for income, the other expenses. Everything will reflect there. We don't have any cash account. We have only two accounts, was CD and the checking account, because before we had 10 different accounts. It's easy to move the money, but this is a way I use it. And anytime the parishioner want to see, it's only one click. Is there all the, where's the money, what account, from where coming, where it's going. It's very simple.
So Father, what do the parishioners, what are they most interested in seeing when they ask for information from you?
So far I have maybe two parishioners came in to ask and say, okay, I want to see the account. I give you 1 week. I say, I don't need 1 week. Let's go to my office. I open my computer. I show it the stuff. They trust, because everything when they ask him, they can see. I can show them very open. Can I hide nothing? Father Richard was here one time, checking out my account, and it's all in order here.
Father Richard is here with us today.
Yeah, I know that.
You're looking good.
Thank you.
And for those of you who are following
when you're
along,
showing all the account to the people, they trust you, and this is very important. When they trust, when you don't have nothing to hide. If you see my report, I don't have miscellaneous. Always have the category. When you have some miscellaneous too many parts, you know, you can hide something there. I don't have. Everything is clear, white and black and white.
okay. And as you can see, for those of you following along, Father Sotis has a weekly category, then he's got Christmas and he's got Easter. So he's got them spread out the way that we're kind of asking all of you to do, just to spread out the categories. So we only take cathedratic from what we need to take, the 10%. We calculate that out. Yeah, and I thank everybody for the generosity if you lump it all together, but you don't have to do that. And we appreciate it. So thank you very much, Father Sotis. All right. We can go on to a question and answer session right now if somebody has questions. Don't all ask at the same time.
How would you like the questions to be posed?
You can just ask them, and if we can answer them right away, we will. If we have to get back to you, we'll do that also. We'll take a list of the questions and we'll answer them either by email or at the next meeting, depending on what the question is.
Okay, John Dickey from St. Michael in Dearborn. On a personal note, it seems like there were two different contribution or funds that we could send donations to the eparchy. One seemed to be to restore the cathedral, and another seemed to be supporting parishes in the eparchy. My personal donation concern is I'd like to support the eparchy. I believe the cathedral has a parish, and I believe the parish should be maintaining the cathedral. So which fund supports parishes and the workings of the eparchy, and which fund supports maintenance of the cathedral?
Thank you, John, for your answer. As all of you probably know, in 2019, St. Nicholas Cathedral started campaign renovation of the church because church itself was in very poor condition. East and west side were leaking. So we, St. Nicholas Cathedral, started this campaign. And yes, all of you, we use the same mailing listings for campaign, support St. Nicholas Cathedral for the repair and for our annual share. So please don't confuse or don't how to say confuse St. Nicholas Cathedral. It calls campaign for St. Nicholas Cathedral restoration. It's solely for the renovation, for the construction at St. Nicholas Cathedral, and share or annual appeal, it goes for administration, for parish support, for missions in our diocese, etc., etc. So it calls share 2023 or 2024. Next year we will use. So there are two different categories. One for solely for cathedral renovation, and another one for the eparchy, for the diocese share.
Okay.
So you can pick and choose, or support both, or cathedral or diocese. So it's everyone has a choice.
So John, did that answer your question?
Yes. So share is for the eparchy.
Yes.
And because it was not quite clear on all the different documents that we received.
It comes from the same address. Maybe this is confusing, because diocese and cathedral, we have the same building, same address. We use the same property.
Okay. I would appreciate a report for 2022. We may not have received that. So if the eparchy would be able to send that.
For the share or
I think it was the financial report for 2022 that was sent out.
That may have been from the Capital Campaign Fund. Okay.
No, for share we
for
sent
share?
to.
Oh,
or
for
the
share?
the eparchial.
Okay.
the eparchial financial report. There was a report. I took a quick note. Apologies for not being completely detailed, but there was a report for 2022 from our eparchy that was sent out to the parishes, and I haven't seen a copy of it, but it may be with Father Wayne. But I'd be interested to know. I'd be interested if it could be resent. If it could be resent electronically, that would be great.
We could do that. I also have an audited financial statement. We are audited annually by an independent group of auditors. And that is available, and I can send that if you need that also. That's not a problem.
It's more for informational purposes, but it's interesting to know what our eparchy is doing on a whole.
Okay, then the share report wouldn't be more what you're looking for, I would think. Okay. Anybody else?
I had a concern.
This book done by Chief Finance Officer Saint Waldemar Olha in Chicago. Is anybody using online tithing? We are using that, and during the pandemic, that actually saved us a lot. We also have parishioners who do not live in the Chicago area. For example, we have parishioners in the Washington, D.C. area and North Carolina. A lot of the contributions are done online. We've also had contributions from outside of the United States, including one from Ukraine and at least one from Canada. Is anybody using online tithing there?
We're not. But what platform do you use?
Tithe.ly, TITHE.ly. The company takes, if I, for example, wish to contribute via a credit card, I have the option of paying for the processing fee, or the processing fee is then removed and the company makes money on it. For example, if I wish to give, say, $10 to Saints Waldemar and Olha, I will be asked, do I wish to cover the processing fee? If I say no, I get a statement, email, stating that I've contributed $10. The parish now gets, for example, $9.37.
So either way, the tithe company gets a fee. The difference is whether or not the person donating voluntarily pays the fee, or if they leave it up to the parish to pay the fee.
That is exactly it. The other thing, what I've done is the statistics they can dump out are actually very, very interesting. We use custom software to obtain some of the data out of that, graphs, forecasting, and so forth. Getting the email addresses is very nice, because that way we can then build a list of these and simply blast out, excuse me, things like, here's, we're going to be having a Christmas sale going on. And in one shot, everybody on that list is notified, regardless of whether these people live in the Chicago area or not. It's a very nice system.
So this is good information for anybody else who might be interested in doing this. Thank you, Bogdan.
Слава Ісусу Христу, це Олександр Святенький, Зарваниця, Seattle. Oh, sorry, in English. Yeah, we use online donations too, and using that exact system as well, including also Zelle. Zelle is free, basically, and maybe not that nice reports, but we can, to reduce the cost of keeping up with.
I have a question. .ly, where is that hosted out of?
That is correct. TITHE.ly. I don't know. I am just an end user. The office manager captures a lot of the data off of that and allocates, somebody gave this much money, it goes to this account. Somebody gave that much money, it goes to this account. Because we just do not have just a Sunday collection. We support the Ukrainian Catholic school that's run by the eparchy. We provide other funding, not just, like Sundays.
Okay, .ly is the internet country code for Libya.
TITHE.ly.
.ly is the internet code, top level domain for the country of Libya.
Yeah, that's correct. And I think one of the recommendation sites that this tie.ly was recommended of one of the Catholic churches. I don't remember exactly what the source was for recommendation, but it was recommended during the COVID time. So
I am on their website right now. And it transports to https://get.tithe.ly.
I type in chat. You can
Yes,
see it.
it's still that.
It's hosted out of Libya.
Yeah.
I did have a question if anyone was doing that. I was doing research for another organization, Zephy.com, if anyone has used that, because that is zero fees for fundraising. It does a complete CRM on the back end, allows for tax letters already to be sent from the portal. So I wanted to see if anyone was using that.
Can you repeat which site that is, Adrian?
Zephy, Z-E, F as in Frank, F as in Frank, Y. Because I do know that PayPal takes commission and things like that.
Please
So
type in chat.
will do.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
We're set up with Square, which they do take, I can't remember what the percentage is. Like if someone donates $100, I think we get like 96 or 97 of it. They just automatically take that off, but it's been helpful for people. We do have a few people that use it regularly to give.
Immaculate Conception Palatine uses Zelle and PayPal.
In here at the cathedral.
And by the way, the eparchy also has PayPal. Some people do find us and send us through PayPal. The disadvantage for all of these is the fees. And it's interesting that Adrian, you mentioned that they do tax letters too. Have you see a copy of the tax letter when it goes out? Do you get something?
I just started doing research this week. I'm gonna enroll the specific organization I'm doing this research for in this week.
Okay.
But feel free to do your research and reach out, and I'd love to brainstorm.
Okay, well, that's the whole point of having these meetings. Well, we're gonna start slow, but I'm hoping that this will turn into a good collaborative effort. I did see Joseph Shafransky's hand up. Did you have something or a question to add?
Yeah, I had a question. I like the examples I've seen tonight. I include a lot of detail in our annual financial report. And I was just wondering, does the eparchy just do any kind of analysis on those reports other than taking out what they need for cathedral, for example?
Actually, I do. I do look at them. I look to see if it makes sense, what's being paid out, what's being taken in. So I do a review, and I don't do one of every parish every year. I select parishes and I try and do it like from a perspective of an audit. So I may take 10 parishes this year that I look in detail at. Next year, I'll look at a different 10 parishes. So yes, we do look at them. And thank you for the detail.
You're welcome.
I have a question. Does any parish provide financial statements more often than once a year at the end of the year?
No, nobody has so far.
This is Richard with St. Michael's in Mishawaka. We have a monthly statement we send out, as well as a meeting on a quarterly basis.
You send it to us?
No, we send it we post it on the bulletin board.
Okay.
And the rectory and in the fellowship hall. And then we have a quarterly meeting, which is conducted by the president and I, and we go over all the finances and any questions that people may have.
That's good to have because parishioners are more interested if they see visually a report from the parish office.
I think that was more my question, if the parishes provide to their parishioners more often than just an end of year financial statement.
Yeah, this is Bogdan Bodnar again. Hanya, as you know, we are a corporation, and there's a delineation between the clergy and the non-clergy. We have a monthly meeting of what's called the Rada. These are all the advisors and so forth. I present financial statistics coming out of a tool called ACS. These are summary statistics, which says these are the contributions year to date. This is the past 3 months. This is what has been happening, and provide some insight as to what's going on. Sometimes there's trend analysis. Here's what's happening year to year and so forth. Also, so they get this on a monthly basis, including summary year to end. On a third quarter, we mail out to everybody who has contributed at least $1 that particular year, a document with saying these are all the entries that have any sort of finances associated with them. This is what you have contributed. That's in our records. This is what the recommendations are. And then they take a look at it and say, yeah, does the data actually make any sense? Does it line up with what I have contributed and so forth? The flip side of that is this is exactly what is present on September 30th of each year. And some people contribute maybe a week, 2 weeks prior to that, and that information has not been entered into the databases yet. Consequently, there are comments, like including from me, saying that, yes, I contributed this, these are the checks, these are the amounts, this is what's contributed for. How come this is not present in the letter that I've received? And their office manager then provides an explanation and says, this is what we have actually obtained. Yes, you have contributed it, but it has not been present in the mailings of the third quarter, September 30th. I hope that answers some of the questions as to what we do.
Okay, so we have, if you have no more questions, or does somebody still have anything?
Well,
Yes, I do.
Okay, Maria?
Yes.
Where
I
are you
have
from, Maria?
Immaculate Conception in San Francisco. I have 2 questions. One is if you could please explain that insurance amount of $626,000. What is that exactly for?
This is property insurance, but it includes umbrella coverage. It includes abuse and molestation coverage, E&O insurance, errors and omissions insurance, directors insurance, automobile if parishes are including those in their parish insurance. It is a large property insurance package that includes everything, so that in the event that any parish or the eparchy is sued for the parishes that do have this insurance with us, that we are covered. And I highly recommend those that maybe are carrying separate insurance that you join the group. The disadvantage is it is expensive. I'm not gonna lie to you. They increased this incredibly this year. Part of that is because we are nationwide almost in terms of our eparchy. So we are in areas that have tornadoes, hurricanes, wildfires out in the west, flooding in California, everything. We've been hit by every type of natural disaster possible. So our premiums have gone up as a group.
Yeah, and the it's probably most of you have either car insurance or paying your house insurance, and you see this insurances are going up everywhere, nationwide. It doesn't matter. Did we have losses or not? Actually, we had very good past 3 years, no losses at all at the eparchy. No, even this didn't matter for them. It's going up all over the board, so around the nationwide. And unfortunately, we're supposed to get almost 40% increase. So last year we paid $525,000. This year we got increase about 22%. It's only because we had to increase deductible for our property insurance. So for example, last year it was 25,000. This year, new renewal, our deductible $75,000. So that's very high.
Okay. Thank you for
In
explaining.
event something happens, any insurance loss is deductible $75,000, and unfortunately, it's all fall into the parishes. So
would somebody be able to do an analysis of if we became self-insured for properties?
John, we were self-insured. When I started here in 2018, and we were self-insured of 2018, 2019, and we may have been self-insured still in 2020. I don't recall. The cost became prohibitive. We just could not cover it. So we had to go the group insurance route. And although it's expensive, it's not the same as being self-insured. We're too small a group to self-insure profitably.
So, okay, maybe I don't understand self-insured, but my understanding of self-insured, at least maybe for property, would be that we pay nothing to an insurance company, and a church burns down for $1 million, and we the eparchy all contribute to rebuilding that church for $1 million.
John, our property value across the eparchy over $50 million. It was one of my honestly ideas to go this route, but it's pretty much impossible. We have to contribute anyway something in order to have some like cushion or fund to cover. And unfortunately, this year there's pretty much no churches for $1 million. Cathedral, for example, 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much over the last year or 5 years have we collected on insurance for our properties?
Again, this $620,000 that we're going to pay this next year, it's include property insurance. It's one part. It's about maybe $300,000. The rest goes sexual molestation insurance. It's almost $150,000. No matter what, we have to pay it. Otherwise, all the churches will be closed, and no priest will be allowed to serve. So we have to have this coverage. Then liability, it's umbrella. We have an umbrella like for $50 million. In case our insurance don't cover, we have an umbrella. And again, as Panihanya says, directors, it's for any mistakes, or directors and officers are covered. So it's not that simple.
I understand, and
I'm not as simple as you think.
I'm thinking the biggest part of our insurance bill is liability for properties in hurricane paths, flood areas, and wildfire. And I don't think most of our parishes are in those perils. And it's like, well, anyway, just a thought. I mean,
yeah,
I've worked for several companies that were self-insured for healthcare and medical, and it's like I saw no difference in my coverage, and in general, the population was fairly healthy. And I think it's just a thought about, let's look at our insurance and let's look at, this is a huge expense. And I don't know that our properties are that we're in jeopardy that much on property.
All right, so I have an idea. This isn't something we're going to solve today.
Nope.
And we are going to have a future meeting. So if there is a group that would like to tackle this question and do research and perhaps alternative ideas that we could work on, I would suggest, and I was going to suggest to anybody anyway, that at the end of this meeting or tomorrow, that all of you send me 2 suggestions for what you would like to tackle for the next meeting, which will be probably February or March of the following year. And if any of you have a particular interest in doing research into property insurance or anything else, add that to your email. And we're going to try and come up with a plan for future discussions. I'm hoping that what we did today has been of benefit to you in terms of a discussion, in terms of information provided, and that we can continue this and participate as a group in finding solutions to everything that concerns all of our parishes in the eparchy.
I still have a question.
Okay, Maria.
First of all, 2 questions. First one quickly. The material that is due on March, is that based on 22 or which year?
It's based on 23 because you should close out your year in December 31st of 2023 for March. And I know we've been collecting it 2 years back because many parishes are not submitting them in time. But there is little to no reason why you cannot close out your books at the end of the year. The eparchy closes out its books and I'm audited January 15th. They're coming in to look at my books. If we can do that, the parishes can do that.
Okay. Next question is for Father Solstice regarding CDs. Can you explain how you can do that? Because when I tried at our bank to do that, it was very difficult because the diocese owns the building and they want all kinds of paperwork, which was really hard to get. So please explain how you were successful in doing CDs.
But our diocese incorporate, but we have so many different churches inside our diocese who have their own corporation. I think we had to talk about someday about that, why some parishes are incorporated and some parishes are not. The best is to be incorporated own church, at least we have so many liability. What I present in the bank, I went with the incorporation for the Chicago, plus with a letter when I was appointed as a pastor here. I said, this is the corporation in Chicago, and the bishop appointed me as a pastor, and they opened the bank account with CD with that.
Yes, and
but you are not a corporation.
No, I'm not a corporation. I use the corporation for Chicago.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And this could be another topic. So we're going to have to close because the other Zoom call is starting in 1 minute.
Oh, we can have 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Father.
Yeah, I just want to let. Yes, Eugene.
Is the assurance agency still the broker for the eparchial coverage on our premises?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
Thank you.
Maybe we can bring our insurance broker next time for the next meeting, and he, from the professional point, will present all the coverages that we have and the situation with the property.
I can have a suggestion.
Yes, Father.
Okay, I'm aware that many parishes they cannot pay the insurance, and the eparchy has to cover that. And we appreciate if you gave us the bill, the amount we supposed to pay, but not raise the amount because we had to support the other parish. And we'd be more happy to support every other parish that cannot pay the insurance, but they told me for the donation, I can give the donation. But I believe I overcharged my insurance because I make the report here in Phoenix. They came look at my church, they should go all over. It was almost $3,000 less what I supposed to pay for the eparchy. And this is the reason I say somewhere it's, we had to try to,
You know
how we
what?
can work on that.
Yeah, we could take a look. I would like to see what they actually covered in the policy they quoted you.
I
Because
sent all information to the eparchy.
all right, we'll take a look.
Yeah.
We can suggest that for a future topic.
So any other questions?
Not a question, just thank you for organizing this. It was a lot of work and very helpful.
Thank you very much for saying that.
When are the invoices coming out for the insurance?
They should be coming out this coming week. We just got the invoices. I'm sorry, but
Yes.
the insurance company didn't provide them to us.
On Monday, Christina will send every parish property insurance invoices. So please, I ask you, because our first bill coming by the end of the year, please.
No, it's coming in a couple weeks.
Well, like by the end of the year, it's going to be in couple weeks, December already. And we have to pay, divide by 620, divide 4, it's going to be almost $160,000 that we need to pay that we don't have them yet. And I apologize for the delay because we just received last Friday invoices from the allocations from the Catholic Mutual Company. So we're going to send them on Monday to every parish. Please pay them as much as you can, at least for first quarter as soon as possible, so that we are going to be able to pay our first quarterly invoice. Okay. And thank you again. And looking forward for our next future meetings that we're going to try have every quarter.
And I'm serious, send me your suggestions. I would appreciate that. We'll make a list. Thank you very much. Do we want to close with a prayer? Bishop?
Okay, thank you very much for everybody. It's nice to be with all of you. Слава Отцю і Сину і Святому Духу, нині повсякчас і на віки вічні. Амінь. Господи, помилуй. God bless all of us, now and forever and ever. Amen.
Father Hu, can you stay for a minute?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh.
Можеш всіх відключити, крім нас? Father Hu, зараз. Тільки одну хвилину.
Thank you, Father Roman, for that backup on the heads up for the documentation. So appreciate that.